This video is brought to you by Robinhood, the free and easy to use investment and trading brokerage. Robinhood allows you to trade and buy stocks, ETFs, bonds, and cryptocurrencies completely free. Also, if you download using the link in the description below, you'll get one free stock valued up to $200 just for signing up. No, you don't have to deposit a dime, and you could become instantly a part owner in companies like Microsoft, Walmart, McDonald's, or Disney just by getting lucky. So download Robinhood today and start taking advantage of this historic 2020 stock market crash. No, that's not my full portfolio. You guys aren't ready for that just yet. What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Got a couple of awesome duels for you guys to check out. The first duel is going to be featuring the spiciest win condition for Salamangreat yet. I guess you could call this a spicy salad. And yeah, it's definitely like an outside of the box build of Salamangreat. You can just kind of tell with the opening hand. So we'll see what this deck can do. Anyways, before we jump into the duel, if you guys could just do me a favor and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy duels like these, because it really helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And if you don't, YouTube ain't gonna show this video to nobody, and that would be the worst. Anyways, he's dueling against the El Dorado deck, and I'm a fan of the El Dorado deck. I think it's really good. I do think maybe as a community we're doing a little too much. I constantly see builds with Invoked, and now I hear about some Synchro variants of El Dorado, and I'm like, wait a minute, I thought this deck had like one monster. I thought in the OCG they were just playing like Lava Golem and then Eldlik the Golden Lord, and that was basically it. But we're doing a lot of crazy stuff in the TCG, but not as crazy as this Salamangreat build. So you can see he's actually got two very good normal summons. He does give up his Foxy for the copy of Salamangreat, or excuse me, I was gonna say Circle. That is Signet Mining, but it's gonna get eaten up by the Ash. He's gonna normal summon his copy of Lady Debug, and that's gonna get eaten up by Impermanence. So it doesn't feel good when you get double hand trap with Salamangreat. You're probably not gonna get to Gazelle. At least I don't think there's gonna be a way of getting to Gazelle. He will at least still get a plus because, you know, Sanctuary is basically any of your monsters gonna turn into Sanctuary, and then he luckily is able to set two defensive cards. Now look, I'm not a fan of this. I do not like when people just, why are you gonna shotgun this card, man? You don't even know what you're playing against. You're just gonna shotgun the different dimension ground. Obviously anything that would go to the graveyard is going to be banished instead. It's a one-turn Macrocosmos. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think this card's interesting, and even in Salamangreat, but I think you gotta wait at least to see what your opponent's playing, especially when they just do this. Get Shrek'd. He's just gonna set all the back row. Now luckily he finally gets a monster, and he's actually going to go into Splash Mage, and this is an interesting card because it allows him to summon back one of those Salamangreat monsters. Even though he didn't have a monster or really a card to like discard for the effect of Flame Buffalo, he does still get a monster back. So that's kind of nice because he's able to go into Transcode Talker, and then he's able to reborn the Splash Mage and turn that into the all-powerful Access Code Talker, current card or cover card of our current core booster set, Eternity Code. And you guys know how I feel about this card. This card can wreck an entire board. I mean, you can activate these El Dorado traps, but bro, I'm still just gonna just wreck these things, and obviously your opponent cannot respond. It does big battle damage, and this thing comes out usually at a very high attack value. Now the thing is, his opponent currently, he took a big shot, so he's at a little under 3,000 life points. You don't think he's in the danger zone, but you might be surprised. This dude is actually closer to death than he may think that he thinks he is. And he's going to go ahead and he's going to activate, I like to call it the El Dorado Cleafort Scout. That's basically what it is. You just pay 800 life points, and then you get to Eldlik the Golden Lord, and he thinks he's back in this store. He's like, Cap, watch this, until his opponent activates the Grave Hole. Not only is Eldlik the Golden Lord going to be negated, get Shrek, bro. You end up losing 2,000 life points. The new win condition, guys, in Salamangreat actually involves 0 Salamangreats. It's actually Grave Hole. That's the new win condition. It's Grave Hole and Access Code Talker blowing up your opponent's cards. Who even needs Gazelle? Gazelle's irrelevant. People thought that the deck revolved around Gazelle. Nope. Turns out Burn is actually the new way of Salamangreat. Anyways, our second duel Going to feature Tenyi versus Invoked or Mech Knight Invoked, which, I mean, it's still a legitimate build of Invoked. Now, he did open with the Tenyi field spell. I mean, thank goodness, because I feel like Tenyi's defense really not all that good if you don't have that card. He is going to get at least one negation. He goes for the Animancipator Dragite that negates spells and traps, so that's pretty good. And then he's going to go for the Tenyi Link 4, which it's not really like negation. It stops your effect monsters from being targeted, so that's kind of nice. And it also it can kind of like copy the stat line of one of your opponent's monsters. Now, his opponent did special summon an effect monster while he was controlling, while he controlled a non-effect monster, which of course is the token. That means he gets 2 cards. And man, I really love this card. I've always been a huge fan of the Tenyi field spell just because of the draw 2. Can you imagine in the OCG how nuts it is? You draw 2 and then draw on the max C, and then it's like draw 500 cards, you know, if your opponent's trying to combo. Anyways, he tried to target the token, but his opponent said, nah, bro, we ain't gonna have any of that today. He ended up destroying it with the red Tenyi, which stops targeting and destroys. I don't really know what this Invoke guy's doing. I'm not a fan of activating cards if I want to get a negation out, if I know I can't also like capitalize off the negation. He could have honestly just kept this invocation, especially considering he's going to go into the BLS Link monster anyway. So now it like really doesn't make sense that he would use the invocation. He could have just kept it in his hand. Main phase 2, he could have used it. I mean, obviously the BLS Link can run over the token, either one of these tokens, by the way, and then it can just banish the Dragite, and then you could activate invocation and you would have been fine. So I don't know why he just played invocation, but don't worry, that ain't the end of the misplays. He's gonna go for another misplay because I guess that's his strategy. So what he did here, and I don't know, maybe I'm just interpreting this wrong, he attacked with BLS and he ended up banishing the Tenyi Link 4, and that seems okay on paper, except obviously Dragite can just run into the BLS, so I don't know if that was the right play. But here's the thing, considering that the BLS cannot be targeted, and it can't be targeted by the Tenyi Link, why not just gain 1500 attack and know that your dude is bigger than either one of these? And this dude doesn't really matter because you're not probably going to activate any more spells and traps. Anyways, I guess none of this is here nor there because he just obviously didn't play it right. I think that I think he should have gained a 1500 attack, but doesn't matter. I guess his opponent in the end probably could have gone for something like Boral Sword Dragon anyways, and this result would be the same. He's going to go for Call by the Grave. Dragite is going to negate that, and now all he has to do is get rid of that back row, or at least try to force it out, and he can simply attack into the BLS and use the green Tenyi. So, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I guess his misplay didn't really matter because his opponent had multiple ways, including Boral Sword Dragon or the green Tenyi as he's using now, to out the BLS because, you know, he's not actually targeting it. But I feel like you still gotta play, you gotta play your game regardless. Even if you do end up losing, I still feel like you should aspire to play as misplay free as possible. Like using the invocation, probably a misplay. Not getting 1500 attack, that could have been a misplay as well, but I guess it's neither here nor there. Anyways, let's go ahead and pause one quick second. Actually, check that. We didn't even got to pause. Look at the spicy salad build, and yeah, so you can see that there are basically as much, like there are just as many non-Salamangreat monsters as there are Salamangreat monsters in here, but obviously the core theme is everything is Cyberse. Well, not the hand traps, but you guys get what I'm saying. You're going to run a bunch of other cards. I've always liked Microcoder in Salamangreats because not only is it of course searchable by Signet Mining, but it does allow you to basically get a counter trap your Signet Conflict from your deck, and then if you have a talker monster on field, you get an extra Infernity Barrier, and Salamangreat already have an Infernity Barrier, so you can have a lot of disruptions against your opponents, and you don't even need to summon this guy. If I'm not mistaken, you can use it as link material from the hand, making it even better, and even being locked into like some of these cards, what is it, Splash Mage, that lock you into like Cyberse monsters for the remainder of the turn. It didn't even matter. We clearly saw that he was just going into stuff like Transcode Talker and Access Code Talker. So basically the entire extra deck is nothing but Cyberse monsters as well, with the exception of like the XC monsters. So Salamangreat actually finding new ways to stay relevant. I know we don't see a lot of Salamangreat, but it's definitely a legitimate deck still. I don't know how I feel about the different dimension ground though, because I kind of look at that and I love this card because it is very powerful, but going second, good gravy is it dead. Your opponent's already got their board established, and I feel like maybe this could be something different, but an interesting take on Salamangreat. Anyways, if you guys are interested in the build, of course, it will be in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos. This video has been brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/megacapital-G. Over 180,000 titles to choose from on your Apple or Android device. Cancel anytime with no obligations. I'm listening to The Amazing Wrestling for My Life by Shawn Michaels. Link in the description.